Hello and welcome to another episode of Real Talk. I'm your host, Kiara. Today we'll be discussing teenagers. Teenage years are some of the hardest years that we may have faced in our life. From puberty to peer pressure, teens are often supposed to use this time in their life to understand the world around them. Today we have a panel of teen girls that are ready to openly discuss their life about what it feels like and what it is to be a teenager these days and age. Sometimes our teenagers don't have the option to be opinionated or the voice to say how they really feel. Hi girls, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on the show today. I'm going to have you introduce yourselves, and the questions that I kind of want, well, when you introduce yourself, I just want to know how old you are, what school you attend, and 2 words that you would use to describe yourself. We'll go ahead and start with you right here.
I'm Aaliyah. I'm 14. I go to East High School, and if I could use 2 words to describe myself, I would say fun and outgoing.
Fun and outgoing, good.
My name is Trinae. I attend Eagle Crest High School. I'm 17 years old, and the 2 words that I describe myself, trustworthy and generous.
My name is Alexandria. I'm 14 years old. I go to Collegiate Prep Academy. And 2 words I would use to describe myself is outgoing and real.
Outgoing and real, good. And you're on Real Talk, so especially good for you. Well, okay, so I'll ask you guys to describe yourself. I'll go ahead and start with you, Aaliyah. Why did you choose those 2 words to describe yourself?
I would say that I'm outgoing because, like, when I'm in high school, I just like to meet, like, new people because I think that when you meet new people, like, you experience new things. And I say fun because I just like having a good time, and I always like to keep a smile on my face.
Good. That's a good thing to have, too. Trinae?
I said trustworthy because I know that if someone comes to me with anything, they could trust me with what they say. And I picked generous because I know that I'm nice at times and I'm a happy person.
That's good.
Okay.
Alexis?
Alexandria.
Alexandria? Okay.
I chose outgoing because I like to meet new people, and I'm always out there talking to somebody new. It doesn't matter who you are. And then I chose real because no matter how much you don't dislike me, or how much you might like me, or how much you don't want to hear what I have to say, you're just gonna hear it.
So you're just really real, for real.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now, we're going to talk about some real stuff today, and I just kind of want to get you guys' insight. I had an opportunity to talk to a couple teenage girls at my church, and I asked them why do they feel like they don't have a voice, or what kind of pressures they deal with at school. And a lot of it is just bullying and not having the opportunity to feel like they fit in, or their parents don't have enough money to buy the clothes that they like to wear like everybody else. So I would kind of want to look at your outlook. Aaliyah, how do you deal with pressures at school?
Well, like, when I'm pressured into things, I usually just like try and turn like the other way and just ignore it, and like stay with positive people and try to keep myself positive. So
Trinae, how do you deal with pressure?
Well, I know that I'm true to myself, so I tend to don't follow everybody because I know I'm a leader. So when I'm pressured into doing stuff
That you don't want to do?
I just feel like that's being a follower and not a leader, so I tend to just look the other way about it.
And maintain a leadership role? Okay.
It's the same thing for what they said. It's kind of like being myself and being who I know, who I am, because like if I follow everybody else, then who am I for real?
Right.
And then then if I just turn away and just think of what I'm doing, and then just look at, oh, well, I know somebody that did this, and I know somebody that did that, and I just want better for myself. So I just trying to do what I know is right.
And that's good. That's real good. I would say for Trinae, since you're a senior and, this is your last year, how was it when you were a freshman and having that transition from middle school to high school?
It was hard because it's like different. You're on your own. You have more responsibilities to do. And I think I did good my freshman year, but it was like kind of hard getting used to the school, the teachers. You have to be more open with your teachers because they're not always going to be like on you a lot, like do this, do that. But you have to be like, I'm going to do this and get my homework turned in, tests and all that. So
And
it was kind of hard.
I can tell you for college, it's 12 times, not so much harder, but it's just free will. So, you know, you're responsible for yourself. So that's why if you ever felt like in high school that these teachers are hard on me, just wait till you get to college because you're responsible for yourself. Aaliyah and Alexandria, you guys just got to high school. So how is the transition from middle school to high school? Although school hasn't been in that long, but how's the transition going for you?
Well, I think like it's like what Trinae said, it's hard, but you have to get used to it because it's like it's different because from in middle school, like you know, like everybody, and in high school it's like 10 times more people there, and you have to like try to fit in with people that you can relate to and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for me, except for the only difference was it was me and my sister against everybody in my school. So when we walked in there, it was like we were the new people on the block. It wasn't anywhere new or knowing people in middle school. So we had to kind of make ourselves known, and then after that, it was kind of cool because there wasn't a lot of trouble because all your teachers, my teachers were a little bit more out there than some of the other teachers. And then they'll like, all you have to do is make a relationship, and then after that, you're good to go.
My mom has always said when we were growing up in school that get to know your teachers, make that connection, because then they'll know that you mean well and that you'll want to do better. Now, you said that you and your sister had to get your name out there. How did you go about doing that, and what does that mean to get your name out there?
Well, to me, it was kind of like making new friends and knowing that I'm not just here so that you could just run me over or run me out of the school just because I'm not from this neighborhood or whatever. So it was kind of like me showing that no matter what, I'm not gonna go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
So
you had a little bit harder of a transition because you moved to a new neighborhood and it's a completely different school. So none of your middle school friends are there.
no, none of my middle school friends are there.
Are any of your friends from your middle school at your high school now?
Yeah, a lot of my friends from middle school are in my high school. Like majority of my friends are.
Okay, so it allows your transition to be a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I kind of want to get an idea of this thing, bullying. I mean, it's out of control in my eyes from when I was in school. It's cyberbullying now for you guys. But when I was in school, they used to have this book that everybody would pass around and kind of talk about trash about all of the not cool kids. But now, when I have been talking to some young people, they're saying that there's other ways of doing burn books, and it's on the internet, and your picture's there, and everybody knows, and everybody has an option to say what they want on your wall if you have Facebook or whatever social network you're using or Twittering. How do you guys handle bullying, being bullied? Have any of you ever experienced being bullied?
Well, I haven't, but like, I know that if it has to come to that, I know that I can go out and tell people what's going on because I've been taught like not to keep things inside because it just ruins you.
Yeah.
So if I were ever to get bullied, I just know like I have family and friends to go to talk about it too.
Right.
Same thing for me because I know since I have another me,
Yeah.
then I could go to her and talk about it.
Right.
Also, I've never really had that problem either because I don't go on the internet that much, so I don't really have that problem. But if I did have that problem, then I know that there's an adult that I can talk to in school. There's an adult I can talk to at home, and then I also have my family. So,
Trinae?
I haven't been bullied before, but I know like people that have been bullied against like U-buns and the Facebook U-buns.
What is this U-buns?
A U-buns is like when you literally let yourself be known and people like put your picture on you buns and they talk about you, and like it gets around school.
And this is all negative content.
Yep, you buns is nothing positive. It's all negative.
It's all negative content. Now, have you guys have never been in a situation where you've kind of antagonized the situation, meaning that you've never actually engaged in bullying anybody, have you?
No. If I know someone that is, I like try to stop it and get help for them because I don't think it's right for anyone to be bullied.
No, especially. I mean, because bullying now, with it being on the internet, it's led so many kids to feel like, you know, this is my only source of communication is this internet. I can't talk to my parents because they don't listen, or I'm too young to feel like, or they tell me I'm too young. And we've even, you know, there's even been cases where kids have committed suicide because of their sexuality, because of who they are not feeling like they can, you know, kind of express themselves. I mean, do you have any problems like that in your household, if you don't mind sharing, where you feel like no one's listening to me?
Well, I know that I can always go to my mom, but sometimes I tend not to. But I don't know.
I mean,
but I always know I could go to her and talk to her about anything.
Aaliyah?
I feel like I can go to my mom for anything because I know that she's always there for me because like she's my mom and she was my age before, so
Right.
like she knows that like even though everything has changed, like technology and stuff, like I
Right.
know that some of the things I'm going through she's been through.
It's
So
the same script, just you guys are different cast members.
yeah.
Alexandria?
Well, if I've ever felt like that, then I'll go to my twin first, and then she'll ask me, well, what makes you feel like that? What makes you think about that? And I'll be like, oh, well, I don't really know because this and this and this. And then after I talk to my sister, she'll be like, well, okay, let's go talk to my older sister. And I've always been able to talk to my older sister because I know no matter what, she's closer to me than anybody. So it's always been like that. We've always been the closest ones together. So I always know I could talk to her.
I mean, I'll just share a little bit about myself. When I was growing up, I had all the avenues to be able to communicate, and I had older sisters, and my mom had an open door policy. Like, we can come to talk to her about anything, whether it's sex, drugs, but like Aaliyah said, I kept so many things in, and it did ruin me at a point in time in my life until I really realized what it means to just love life, and I felt like no one did care. So when I did a couple interviews with the girls from my church, like I said earlier, you know, a couple of them felt like no one cared, or that their parents had told them, since you don't pay bills, you don't really have an opinion. And that's the kind of mind frame that I had also, not necessarily from my mom, but when I was growing up, family members would say, you don't have a nerve because you don't pay bills. And it's like, that doesn't make me any less of a person to have emotions. So how do you deal with feeling like no one's listening to you?
I usually like if I can't talk to my mom, I have my older sister to talk to, or like close friends or my cousins that I can talk to because I know that they'll understand because they're like in the same age range as me. So.
Okay.